Thanks for that.
Well, can I say, like, I had a secular Jewish friend in college who saw Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with me, and he was like, "Wow, that's a really nice." All those kids were struggling with having no father in the home, and they projected it into this talking lion character. And I said, "Do you realize this is just it's just a giant allegory for the gospel?" And he's like, "Oh, come on, you Christians, you see everything through the lens. Like, Jesus isn't everywhere, guys."
That's an example of like you winning an internet debate before it happened.
Dude, I can't stop loving that story. Every time I see that story, I just love it a little more.
I do recognize that one. I just didn't realize that's what it was.
Yeah. So anyway, it's Wednesday. It's another episode of the Mattriarchy, and I think I owe Twitless an apology just to start off with. Just before we went live, pardon me.
Would you like me to apologize for you?
Before everyone else showed up, and it's affecting me. Anyway, just before we went live, I said that I wouldn't mind if nobody watched. What I meant is that it's so much fun talking to people that you all out there in internet land, you are icing on the cake. I'm not trying to say that our conversations aren't important, and I realized after we went live and that Twitless said was didn't realize it was talking over the video. But with that, I realized, man, I bet what I was taking could be what I said could be taken in a rude way, and I did not mean it that way. So I wanted to come out publicly and say, Twitless, I think you're important, and what you bring to the conversation of comics is important.
Let's also bring context to this, of course. Twitless, you had just been warning us about what this stream is going to be, and you should probably warn the audience on that same measure.
That's fair.
Parental guidance warning for tonight. We're going to be talking about edgy webcomics, specifically ones that are posted either exclusively or mostly on social media. I have a fascination with these, and I am not an expert by any means, and there's so many out there. So my selection of them is just the sort of like the Pokemon. It's my personal Pokemon collection. But I will say these comics are. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so you don't feel the need to catch them all.
Right, exactly. But the point I'm trying to make is that we're going to be talking about comics that specifically, and so I think this might be a good entrance into the conversation to talk about comics that specifically do this, but comics that specifically try to be as offensive as possible as their goal. And so because of that, some of the comics
may not be a safe space.
Well, I'm not going to try and show anything that's too triggering on screen, but be aware that if you go and look at some of these comics yourselves, again, like I said, NSFW warning.
Yes, there you
go. Because we're about to explore a whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I think I'm going to have my eyes closed.
So, Cartoonicus.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to put this on Facebook.
I mean,
do you want
stay
me to
tuned.
not tag you?
What's that? Oh, you may tag me. I'm probably not going to want to be seen as specifically promoting it.
Okay.
Just in case.
The studios page or the regular page?
Studios.
Okay.
I didn't even know you knew the other.
I didn't know it either. Facebook is telling me about it. I was like, what? Oh, jeepers. Okay, sorry. We're super professional here at the Mattriarchy, and guys, I'm real tired.
This is I'm tired too.
It's been a long, stupid, like 3 years, and I'm.
I don't know about you guys, but as far as I'm concerned, this stream has always been at its best the more we mess up.
It's that Facebook authenticity. So, or the Facebook.
All right, so I am.
Anyway,
Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to. I should have done this by being more prepared, but I'm actually trying to tag some people in a tweet, and
Yeah.
my computer's
world,
starting to die.
in a perfect world, I would have all this set up way ahead of time, and be really on the ball and have all this set to automatically send stuff out and be real professional. But
Yeah, but where's the fun in that?
As it actually turns out, I am a slobbering mess, and I didn't get home from work until 10 to the hour. So,
Well, nobody's perfect.
yeah. But hey, that's
Anyway, Twitless, would you like us perhaps looking things up and getting ready for you? Or?
No, don't. No, I'm just gonna have to do this. There's. It would take way too long. So what I'd like to do. What I want to do first, though, is maybe have a brief little talk. And we got chat in here already. Marsupial Gamer says, "Y'all talking about Blobby? That comic's pure cancer." No, I don't follow Blobby too much. I'm
that the blobfish.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I need to be very clear here. My Pokemon collection of Edgy comics tend to be not the edgy left-wing ones. So I'm just going to let that sit, and I'm not going to say anything else. So you can.
Well, I laugh at Blobby, but for all the wrong reasons, not what the artist intended on.
So I like the comics that will specifically target Blobby and make revenge comics against Blobby, where Blobby gets stabbed to death, which is its own thing.
I fear you're going to inadvertently make people on the right look very bad tonight.
Yeah.
No,
So,
or the opposite. Stone Toss. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. That's fine. I didn't mean to.
I was going to say Stone Toss is actually Stone Toss is going to get a notable mention, but I'm actually not going to. We're not going to, I think, talk about him too much here because he's too mainstream. Which is kind of funny to say.
I don't think you need to talk about Stone Toss, right?
Right? Yeah, it's yes, everyone knows who Stone Toss is, he is he is on my list. He's one of my Pokemans, but he's basically like the Charmander. He's like your starter set Pokemon. Your starter set is Charmander, and Charmander is Stone Toss. Everyone knows Pokemon's 1 through 3.
Yeah, he's right there on the cover of the game.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So,
exactly.
That's amazing. That's amazing to think of. So, Fly, in the chat, and dude, we need to remember to invite you on one of these days. I'm such a friggin' knucklehead these days. But anyway, but he, Fly Fox says, "Is Peter the problematic person edgy?" And I think that's a great discussion point because in our backroom chats, because we have one. We're special. No, I'm sorry. In our backroom chats where we play on the show, I said, "Hey, Twitless, are you ready to do your cringy social media comics?" And he said, "They're not cringy, Reese."
He said they're art.
They're art. And yes. So I think we should take this time to define terms a little bit before we jump into content. Huh?
I told you the term is Kino.
I agree with that. And I also would like to talk a little bit about just the just briefly before as I pull some stuff up, just kind of the implications of specifically choosing to create artwork that is often edgy or deliberately offensive. Now, not everyone I'm showing is going to be entirely in that category. I think there actually is a couple of lefties in here. Most of the ones I'm looking are not. Some of them are so randomly offensive that they defy categorization. They just kind of offend everybody. And some of them aren't. And some of them just aren't that offensive. They're just kind of edgy in terms of maybe being a little on the violent side or toilet humor, the type of thing that you wouldn't be able to get away with in most polite company.
How many of them?
We already have some. We have some chat engagement. Dave, good to see you. He says I'm Ed McMahon, which is I'm not a wrestling guy, so
no, that's Vince McMahon. Ed McMahon was the sidekick to Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show back in the 80s and the 70s.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got wrong. Yes. There you go.
Well, in fairness, Dave, Twitless is a little younger than us old fogies here.
I do remember having a Macho Man Randy Savage pillow buddy.
Yeah, that's
back when
not
those
the
were a
same
thing,
thing at all.
You remember the little wrestling buddies you had? Yeah.
Yeah. Ed McMahon also was not the he got tagged with being the Publishers Clearinghouse guy, but he was actually for a different sweepstakes that was very popular in the 80s.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Marsupial Gamer says, I keep seeing this comic where the girl goes into a social media bad part of town with Gab, BitChute, Rumble, but I can't remember the name. I don't always understand it. Are you talking about Sinfest?
Oh, that could be it.
Is it because that's we could do a whole stream on Sinfest. That character arc
He might be, but he
I'm
doesn't know
guessing
the
that's
name,
not
so he
gonna-
can't answer.
I'll see. Maybe I'll pull up an image from recent Sinfest. Maybe we can at some point. Maybe we can.
What the name says, something tells me that will not fit in tonight's category.
Hey,
It's just an
probably not.
Webcomic. It has, it has had biases in the past that people might find offensive, but it's not like purposefully going out of its way to.
No, that's true. Although, actually, now it is. Now it is super offensive.
Oh, really?
To current politics. Oh, yeah. He went off the deep end in political territory. Okay, let's define some terms and talk about like what it means to be offensive for comics. And then, like I said, I'm pulling up some stuff in the background here. Reese, talk to us about edgy offensive-ness.
Okay, so the concept of edgy, and I was just talking to my boy about this a few days ago. There's two kinds of concepts of edgy, right? But they both kind of lead out of the idea of playing with the borders of acceptable, right? So yeah, when people talk about edgy, sometimes they're talking about things that are like, violent beyond reasonable things, like 90s comics. Or that whole extreme sports surge, big guns and giant spikes and all that kind of.
Or like Mortal Kombat in video games when it first debuted.
Exactly, with the Play-Doh blood.
Which was edgy for the time.
Yeah, they Fly Fox with the defense of Peter's edginess. I love it. Oh, hey, Dave points out the Star Search with Ed McMahon. That's awesome. So I had forgotten about Star Search. That's amazing. It was like American Idol before that was a thing. So, or America's Got Talent probably is more like it. Well, anyway, so
I knew of Ed McMahon, but I never remembered his last name. Because I used to watch reruns. So I hear him calling out to Ed, but like I always hear the first name, never hear the last name.
Yeah. He was did the host, the announcement of the kind of stuff. Anyway. Moving on. So so like people talk about like edgy violence and vampire movies in the 90s that were all that kind of thing. The other idea is just pushing past any social norm or expectation to just be shocking for whatever reason, right? So Punisher could be edgy, but when comics came to accept the Punisher level of violence, suddenly not edgy anymore, right? When same thing with Lobo, right? Lobo was designed to mock edginess, but it sort of helped embrace that level of edgy into the mainstream of comics at the time. So it was that whole thing. Yeah, Abigail, no thumbnail. I sucked this time. That's
edginess is very much local and temporal.
Exactly. And so then you look at the idea of like, okay, so we live in a world where the Overton window has shifted, so much toward Gramsci and all of his ilk that even just saying, I want to get married and have kids, and suddenly you're on the outside of the barrier of what's acceptable, and Katy Perry gets to make fun of you on national television for having children. So just being, normal is suddenly edgy in today's milieu. So
I should point out as well, there is often also, and I don't know if any of the comics tonight will fit into this category, but how do I say this? There's always that kid you knew in high school who was purposefully edgy to a ridiculous amount because he thought that would make him cool, but it didn't. It made him completely uncool because you knew what he was trying to do.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I just put something up.
Also, guys, check out the new layout. What do you think? Is this a good or not? I don't know. They can make custom ones, and this is what I came up with. It might be terrible. I don't.
I was called edgy recently in my comic because somebody went through it, and it was only for one thing, and it's because I used the word retarded, and it's gotten to the point that retarded has become so non-PC to say that it's considered edgy to use it. I'm like, well, that's stupid. I might even say it's retarded.
Well, I've never been a fan of the term myself, but that's for personal reasons.
I grew up in the 90s. We were throwing it left and right.
Oh yeah. I was mostly growing up in the 90s. But...
I love metal. I am not apologizing.
No,
I've never.
I'm not saying you
I
should.
also use that term.
Yeah.
Oh no, Marsupial Gamer, you didn't.
I agree. Calling retarded edgy is gay.
Oh no.
What was it? I just used that word somewhere. It doesn't matter. My brain's skipping out of me. So, Twitless. Sorry, everybody.
Okay, I've got. Where do I start? There's so many of them. Okay, let's start with some that. We're gonna ease in slow. Okay. So some of these are new, and so some of them I don't know extremely well. But this I think there's two of them that actually go by similar names. So I guess we'll start with these guys. So this is a new, and like I said, my system is starting to chug, so bear with me.
Again, if you want any of us looking stuff up ahead of time, go ahead. But...
All right. Here we go.
Ooh. I just changed the layout on the fly, and I think I broke something.
Okay. So, this one
too much
is a guy by the name of Zach Last Place. This is just the beginning. Am I here?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. All right, let's see here.
I'm lagging.
I would suggest
Okay.
not doing voices this week.
Oh, jeez. All right, so this one I'll do them. Anime cat girls in your area. Click. Knock knock. Hey there, handsome. Nyan. Not on the carpet. Okay, so
Okay, so I've been on Facebook long enough. That is not edgy at all. That's just par for the course.
I said we were starting on the light side. Okay, I'm easing you guys into this. This is going to be like a frog boiling in water. I'm gonna start with, like I said, these are some of my new Pokemans, but there's a lot of them kind of have a similar kind of auteur style to them. A lot of them have very light and flat coloring. Line work is very simple, and so.
Oh yeah, I mean, this immediately reminds me of the kind of comic that ends up also becoming a meme template, where you would just cut out the dialogue and then people insert their own dialogue.
I just don't see the difference between that and inviting a real girl into your house.
Oh gosh.
Competing with the edginess now, aren't you?
Alrighty. So, alrighty. So that was me. That's a couple of these are just going to be warm ups. So just bear with me because it's going to get.
Jim Turner says furries are not edgy.
Typically, Metal.
I mean,
if you don't give them liquor, they don't puke on your carpet. So.
Well, somebody's got to drink it. I'm not going to.
You guys seem to be talking from a disturbing amount of experience.
I'm 45. I've lived some. I'm 45 and a half Irish. I've done some things, man.
Okay, the Irish makes sense. Oh, Jim Turney says Sonic Chew is edgy. And what does this say?
Chris Chan walks free again.
That is true.
Sadly.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So if you guys are ready, for the where it becomes edgier, I am totally game for that. I wanted to, like I said, ease us into this a little bit, but okay, Chad
Well,
is basically
The
saying
last
shut up or
one
shut
felt
up.
like we were playing
Yeah.
on easy.
Okay, well, all right, let's dial it up a little bit then. So give me a second here.
I'm gonna regret this. I know.
Yeah. Oh gosh, this is like in terms of spiciness, this is like a 4.5. So we're not even fully there
Is
yet.
that a scale of 1 to 10, or is that like the Richter scale where it gets progressive?
All right. So this is by another guy named Zach. This is Extra Fabulous Comics, and he has a thing with butts. But he's
I've seen
okay.
Well, I'll tell you right now. First of all, I got to point out that this perfectly encapsulates the comedic law of the high and low divide. But somehow it's a low and lower divide, but still technically funny.
No, technically the divide is between left and right hemispheres, or left and
Well,
right.
I was going to say the
call them?
divide was between left and right cheeks.
Well, that's what I was trying to say by hemispheres. Yeah.
That's what he was trying to say.
So I don't like it. It's disgusting, obviously, but this is the type of comic I look at. And again, I would expect to see this pop up on Facebook, and my response is always just going to be, okay, that's just weird. Like, why? What is even this?
Yeah. So the high and low divide.
Okay. So like I said, this
in comedic theory is the idea. It's subversion of expectations, right? Where you expect
Yeah,
one
I
set
get
of
that, but
Yeah.
still, there's sometimes when you just think, like, who comes up with this idea and why?
All right, so I do have to let me. I do need to point out that Zach will basically oscillate between doing like somewhat wholesome comics and then like butts.
Uh-huh.
So here we are. Is my screen still being shared? Yeah. So here we have a comic right here where it's give a man a fish just because it's a nice thing to do, and and so on. But then we've got let's see here. Let me find another one of his. There's more butts.
The artist
does a lot. He
captures
does a
the
few.
ethos of Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah.
I suppose potted humor was going to be par for the course tonight.
Edmy says, "Why is there an ass munch on screen?" Okay, so again, disclaimer: today we were doing edgy social media comics. These are comics deliberately meant to be offensive. There is a trigger warning.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to do that about every 5 minutes because there will be newcomers.
Every 5 minutes.
That's true. As new people joining the chat, this is in fact intentionally degenerate. And
write a warning in the chat and then pin it to the top.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. Let's actually do that.
Warning.
You want to put it on the title of the video?
Should put it in the description.
Did I swipe over it? Okay, no. So I glazed over the Garfield ones because that's actually another creator. These guys follow each other. So we're going to cover Cream of Dog here in a minute. And he and Beetle Moses stream together. And they're both, we're going to talk about them in a minute. So I guess that'll be a good segue. We'll cover them next. I just wanted to do one more from Zach. I don't think I'm going to read this one. This car has everything you need. Water, food, and all that stuff. And then, I don't need essentially a
bleepity bleep
a bidet. There may be a couple butts shown on screen today, but they'll be animated or cartooned. And again, these comics are deliberately meant to be offensive, and some of them hit the target square on the money. So that's Zach at Extra Fabulous, if you're interested in that. And those are where his tastes are. Since we already kind of, since Zach already kind of spoiled one of the guys I was going to take a look at, I'll pull him up next. We'll pull up, let me see if I can find some ones from Cream of Dog. Cream of Dog is a fascinating guy, and he is one of the guys who I cannot tell exactly. His comics are so offensive to everyone that it's hard for me to tell who he's trying to offend. So give me a second. Let me try to find some of the ones that he does. I'll just share. We can just share his feed and scroll through it for a second. Oh, here we go. Found one. This is a pretty good example of his work. Cream of Dog, like I said, also streams with another edgy webcomic guy called Beetle Moses regularly. So if you're interested in just seeing two guys talking crap and then drawing random offensive stuff, you can check them out. And let me share.
Edming has got a perfect comment. Did somebody notify the guys who don't fulfill books?
Still really offensive. Well, we're talking about content offensive, not fulfillment offensive. I guess that's a separate category we could do there. All right, so here's Cream of Dog. Cream of Dog creates these. I almost call them Ben Garrison level cartoons. And let's click on that. Ben Garrison is a right-wing political cartoonist, and his cartoons they're just like straight political kayfabe. There's not really a joke attached, but there's usually a lot going on in them. And so if you're familiar with Ben Garrison, Cream of Dog does something kind of similar where you throw a bunch of stuff and you spend half your time getting shocked, half your time being offended, and half your time being just puzzled at what you're looking at. And by the time you're done, you don't know, you're just confused, but also slightly offended and slightly turned on sometimes. It's just kind of a weird blend. And so Cream of Dog, which might actually might make the screen name might actually make sense for that. But yeah, just a random mixture of stuff. And like I said, trying to basically shotgun of offense. You just blasting it on everybody. So yeah.
I don't understand anything happening here.
Yep. You kind of have to just his comics take study, and that's the fun, is studying how exactly you're supposed to be offended at these.
Well, if I'm being honest, these kinds of one frame.
This one just comes off as bitter.
Yeah, but bitter against who?
Exactly. It's a shotgun effect. You don't know who he's making fun of.
The thing is, I have never liked these kinds of single image political cartoons. They become so hard to read.
Actually, you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure that's actually Ben. It's funny. I just clicked and I said he does a Ben Garrison. I'm fairly certain that
stuff on him.
That's Ben Garrison in this actual strip, because Ben wears cowboy hat. And
you supposed to know it's him unless he puts Ben's stuff on everything, because he just looks a generic cowboy otherwise.
I was just actually putting that together myself when I said he's kind of like Ben Garrison, but it's very clear that he's channeling that because he's actually directly referencing Ben right there. That's funny. I didn't even notice that. So that is Cream of Dog. And let me see if I can find another one of his before we move on. But like I said,
great close up there. Real nice detail.
Let's see. Okay, here's one.
Oh no.
Do I need to click on that? I'm not saying it out loud.
Well, I mean, it's clever, I guess. The drawing of the whale isn't bad. I'm trying to think of a whale joke here.
Okay, and again, we're getting more spoilers because Keith Stack, we're going to cover him next, and there's, I think, Martian Magazine, who we'll also be covering. So these guys, like I said, a lot of these Pokemans are in the same Kanto region.
A lot of these people I recognize their art,
and here's a couple
but
more.
I never bothered to learn their names.
Okay. So Edming says, so these creators are in the spirit of the French. Offense for the offensive, to enrage the masses, only to be forgotten for years and years, to only be found by me. Well, like I said, I collect these like Pokemon cards. So I do have to say, it's so meta. I can't even understand it, so it must be genius. I've occasionally had that thought. I go, this makes so much not sense to me that it has to be operating on a higher intellectual level. So if you feel that way, I have also felt that way regarding
not classy enough to understand.
So
how
Yeah,
keen
Neo, I
aesthetic
think
is.
you might be onto something with that
So,
observation.
Are
there.
you saying that if I go and start throwing a bunch of random crap together and putting it out there, I can get famous? Because people will just think that it's
It
brilliant.
depends on how
Guys,
genius
okay.
it is.
I'm going to interrupt the stream for a second, and I have to share with you a story that I was exposed to yesterday that is the most heartbreaking thing I have ever seen. My wife discovered the Stardew Valley YouTube, which is a whole cluster of these folks that play Stardew Valley and do all sorts of stuff with it. And some of them get together to do other things. One particular member of this little cabal made himself a challenge to try to make money doing only MS Paint videos or MS Paint drawings with with an entirely anonymous identity, right? So it's not playing on his fan base or anything like that. And within an hour, the dude had set up a profile on some website and gotten a commission for a drawing that he'd made within the hour in MS Paint with his mouse. I have been trying to make money with art on the internet for 20 years. My heart broke into tiny pieces. I can't even express it to you. So yeah, sure, Cartoonicus, I believe there are ways somehow for you to throw crap together and
So
become the next success.
The real key is what you throw together, because Cream of Dog is throwing Pyrocynical, which is a famous YouTuber, Big Homo, Big China, Omar, and George the Bush, and also the evil Chinese inflation device. And when you put those magical things together, you get 1,700 retweets, 79 quotes, and 27,000 likes. I think Reese is going to go cry.
We didn't nuke the Chinese. We saved them from Japan, and then they all became
the best
commies.
part.
No, that's the other level of offense, is that he's being offensive. He's being Asian offensive.
There's layers to the joke.
Exactly.
I'll be back.
Don't
Especially
do
if you think,
anything
all of
stupid.
this happens prior to George the Bush even being a thing.
Oh, jeez. All right. So Edming says, "Gosh, Twitless, I didn't think you were such a I didn't think you were such a psychopath. You remind me of the plumber's wife who took photos of her husband's peeking out of pants because it was funny, only for her. What? What?
Oh,
Find the albums after her death." Oh, well, that's a very specific fetish. Okay, so that's Cream of Dog. So that is at YOLO Swag Studios if you want to follow him. So I got a few more. Definitely, I got plenty more to go through. So we definitely want to keep it moving, and hopefully Reese comes back after his existential crisis there. And as I close my tabs, my system is slowly lagging less. I am saving some of the best for last. So I am saving some of the edgiest
You need
for
to
last.
download
So
some more RAM.
I do. Is there a website for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So as I heat up the next couple of ones here, I do want to bring up something about these comics that is an actual intellectual point, which is this: finding these comics and keeping track of them is a challenge, and I have not been doing a very good job of it, but I should be doing better, because when these comics get published, some of them have archives and websites to put their comics as backups. But some of these guys are just doing these as doodles. They slap them on Twitter. They slap them on Instagram. Occasionally they put them on Gab or somewhere else. And then that's it. And then as the feed continues to grow, that comic gets lost and forgotten. And then if that person says something very edgy on Twitter, especially, which is very censorious, the account gets banned. And then you can lose years, an entire corpus of work. which is what happened to some of the creators we'll be talking about a little bit later. So the preservation and enjoyment of these comics, these are ephemeral artifacts. And so in some cases, they are kind of like collecting trading cards. So catch them while you can, because the comics,
one of the cool parts about it. It's like a FOMO thing, right? Like you had to be there.
Kind of. But what I'm saying is that if you want to go back and pull them back up, it can be very difficult, which is, like I said, something very different from the experience of comics. And you're right in the sense that there's a sort of zine quality to that. But on the other hand, there is also something in the fact that these comics are not preserved in the same way. In some cases, they do disappear. And so that is just an aspect of them. And the more that they're posted on social media, as opposed to a traditional website, the easier it is for some of them to disappear. Because even if you want to, like I said, as the feed, if that person tweets a lot, maybe they go a year without drawing anything, good luck scrolling through the feed to find the comics. So there's some very interesting challenges that occur.
So what I should be doing is collecting just a few of them, and then in 40 years, they'll all be worth tens of thousands of dollars.
As NFTs, especially. That's the way to do it. So
yeah, don't worry. Somebody on some image board somewhere is gonna be like, "Ha! I got a copy too."
Okay. So Reese, you back? Jim Tuner says it's a tragedy how many butt pictures we have lost from that guy whose name I've already forgotten. Oh, geez.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Let's just.
Did you have your existential crisis?
Actually, I was doing some back end stuff. I was I for whatever reason it wouldn't let me pin the comment pin the thing in through StreamYard, so I had to go to YouTube to do it, and then I went ahead and put the warning in the description as well. So yeah.
There was another thing that was added to StreamYard. I don't know if you saw it, where guests can add a destination of their choice as well. I didn't read much more into it, but that seemed pretty interesting.
Like
I'm assuming they meant like a place to stream. So like if you have a guest on and they wanted to mirror the stream on their end or something like that.
Sweet.
I don't know. We'll have to look more into that later.
All right. So the next,
Thank you for that little comment there. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
I love this. Also, we have one last comment and quick on this is right. Jim Tuner says Joe Biden needs to do something about all the tragically lost butt pictures. That's great.
All right. Next up, we have Keith Stack. And his Leslie and Brienne Twitter comics. Now, fortunately, Keith Stack's comics they're hosted on his own website. So he does keep an archive. And some of them are just doodles. Some of them are just GIFs he makes. And some of them are kind of non sequitur-ish comics. But I'm going to ask Metal, who exactly is Keith Stack lifting off to create these two characters?
Oh, I've seen this guy before too. I'm trying to remember.
Very clearly, it's even in his profile, but it's very clearly there's a cartoon made by a very popular creator. He may have done a cartoon about a guy who sells propane.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting some Beavis and Butthead vibes, but
this is basically one of these characters is Beavis, and one of it's a more intelligent character, but Ren, Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, that whole aesthetic heavily channeled here. And so some of these comics just end in violence. Some of them end, I believe one of them is just cannibalism. Yeah. Can I show that one on stream? I think I can.
Well, I hope, like I've seen some of this guy's comics. They're pretty funny. But it's got to be better than their new Beavis and Butthead, because that was boring.
Hold on, it's opening in new tabs for me. Hold on, this is the fun of
Oh, don't you love it when sites are set like that?
Yeah, because then I have to share another. Okay, sorry, I thought I was actually sharing the tab I wanted to share. Give me a second. Let me share just one or two of these. Oh, and these are specifically done in MS Paint.
Purposefully, you mean, or?
Okay. Are you there, Reese?
Oh yeah, sorry. I had a sore spot on my arm. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
I've modded a vape rig so I can blow the
Rig.
fattest. Whatever. I love kablooey.
So, like I said, some of these are just kind of non sequiturs.
That's horrifying.
But that's based on a real thing. There was these really bad
let me
knockoff Chinese like vape rigs that were actually overheating, and some of them did explode on people. So there's a topical comic right there.
Ouch.
Now the explosion wasn't quite like that, but yeah,
Well, I can only imagine what all that
it was
super
the
hot steam coming out of there
lithium
would be like
battery
in your
inside of it that
face.
exploded.
Oh, even worse.
I love the cartoon dog bone on the end of her arm.
Yeah. Alrighty, so there's that one. Let me share just one more here. And let's do...
I wouldn't be surprised if they were
This
using
one. This one,
aluminum to connect the
this,
battery to the rig.
Keystack does a lot of gamer jokes. His characters are gamers.
It's
so
Kirby.
That's clearly Kirby. Kirby.
That's what everybody was calling it
probably
when the
inhale a
game
card.
came out.
Look at a pack of marbles red.
So,
Good God.
like I said, those are some of the not as offensive ones. There's more butt humor on this one.
I was
as you
more
can probably
offended
guess.
from the actual game where Kirby, who could otherwise swallow an entire planet, had trouble sucking down a car or a vending machine.
Yeah, that's fair. I also from the chat we have a complaint that Peter, the problematic person from Fly Fox's Pro's amazing webtoons comic, says he cries Electro Pop Cola. That's way more edgy than this stuff. Dave says this whole episode is just an excuse to look at dirty comics.
Speaking of which, here's one more.
We haven't even gotten
Here's
to
one
the
more.
dirty
Just
stuff.
to, I was gonna say I haven't even gotten. I've just begun to fight. Jean Paul Jones there. This is again, some of them are just very non sequitur. So apparently this one of the characters has a mermaid virus, and so bites her friend and just turns her into a mermaid.
Are you aware of the mermaid phenomenon?
Every May.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I still need to get a piece done for
okay.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Every May, people do their mermaid, and there actually have been other people who've done it in like virus form, not as a joke. So like this joke has layers to it, and well,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
The silence.
All right. Awesome.
Jim Tuner says
sound of
back to
silence.
the Carby comic that was too understandable to be edgy. So
That's fair. That's fair.
You may be onto something. It depends on how mainstream you think that.
a lot of
Only
these
if you
ones
understood it.
specifically are topical. Like every single one of those, if you know internet culture, you can kind of get the joke on there.
All right. Let me pull up. Let me pull up my next one here. All right. So this next one's going to be less on the edge side, but still pretty darn funny. Let me see if I can find one of his really funny ones. This guy's very dark humor, but not necessarily super edgy. Actually, maybe we'll skip that one. All right. Are you guys ready for the real edgy stuff? This stuff has been like this is kind of the sort of like 4.5.
Well,
okay.
if these are like Pokemon, shouldn't we go through the various evolutions?
Oh my God! Can't we let the metaphor die for a second?
Oh no, that's going to be hilarious throughout the rest of the night.
Later, man.
Oh, we losing people.
Yeah, we lost one.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so Fly Fox
we
Pro.
couldn't compete.
Okay, all right, good to see you.
We could Fly Fox couldn't compete with his attention over a supper.
Well, I mean, that's a good sign. At least he had an appetite after these.
Yes, that's true.
All righty.
That's true.
No, he's
okay.
just
Well, that's
upset that
because
he didn't consider Peter the problematic person, Edgy.
Yeah, he's a little offended about that, I think.
Okay, so let's do let's we're gonna warm our way up just a little bit more, and then it's gonna hit hardcore. So I'm gonna do just a couple here. Let's do Witch Doctor DB, who has gone viral quite a bit. So he's kind of on the edge, I think, of becoming kind of mainstream for an edgy comic.
He's on the edge of edge.
Before we get onto that, there's this comment from the chat that I have no understanding of. Well, I mean, I get the second half of it, but the first half doesn't make any sense to me at all. Well,
I'm on the show, and I had to debate whether I wanted to be here or watch Pipkin Pippa.
What is Pipkin Pippa?
Pippa is a bunny girl VTuber who is. You want to talk about edgy? She's edgy. She's probably one of the edgiest VTubers there is, and her show is hilarious. And she's streaming right now.
Oh, okay.
That's not the girl who did the.
Nothing matches the edge of some of the comics I have at the tail end of this. I'm going to have to get selective, or else like I could get the show banned, kind of thing. So this is Witch Doctor. He's the creator of memes such as Exposed Nerve and Silly Billy versus the Sun, or Silly Billy versus the Demon Core, which are some of his best. People have made animations of that. Some of his, again, kind of are the non sequitur sort of comics. But some of them are just kind of funny, like this one here, which is the first guy who learned that gunpowder explodes. Ran out of firewood. Guess I'll have to use this black powder stuff. That's not super edgy, but it's funny.
It is funny. Also, I think it's funny that he looks like a Kirby.
It is funny.
That's funny.
I thought that was a Trump haircut.
That's kind of how he draws. He's grotesque and cute at the same time. It's really weird, and that kind of explains his humor. Like we have here, Squidward's infinite testicle closet, which is a joke I don't get if there is one to get, but like I said. Not all these comics make the most amount of sense. But like I said, if you've ever seen Silly Billy versus whatever, that's this guy here. Or if you've ever seen a guy versus the Exposed. Let me see if I can find the.
I don't believe.
Let me see if I can find the Exposed Nerve comic.
Dave says the guy. Who
some of these are comics.
Did blow himself up.
Yeah, so like you can see in I think this one. Here we go. This is one of his more famous ones, which is You Friend Exposed Nerve. Which you can see dangling off that guy's arm right there. And then the follow-up panel to that is the guy basically touching it and like the other guy like exploding. So the guy brings a very visceral kind of, like I said, kind of a grotesqueness to artwork. So that's Witch Doc DB Witch, if you're interested in that. Let me see if there's any of the rest of his that are funny. He sometimes makes gaming comics that are kind of fun. All right, now we'll just skip that one. Okay, so let's actually start dialing it up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do Carol's.
Okay. Marsuba Gamer says, "I think that is a reference to Squidward's Infinite Clock Closet, which is an obscure meme." So.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. that makes sense. Okay.
No, it still
all right,
doesn't.
So we're gonna do Carol.
But...
I believe I'm entirely out of touch, and I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we needed Marm to help with this too, because he's like plugged into the YouTube pop culture, and then some of the stuff
I'm so
we probably
mad.
could fill the gaps we couldn't do.
one of my favorite guys follows Marm, and I really wanted him here just to be like, how did you get Dreadhead to follow you? my
Probably
brain
YouTube
is
poop.
collapsing. How did you get Dreadhead? I don't get it. I don't understand, and I'm super jealous. All right,
Because,
You
like,
probably
Carol
made
here-
a YouTube poop that
I'll tell you what it is.
you liked.
Once a year, Marm stumbles upon like this pile of YouTube magic,
Mhm.
and it's reliably once a year, and it's just like, and all of a sudden his like sub count jumps like 50,000, and he doesn't like, and it's not like he chases the algorithm. It's just he's sitting there on the surfboard, and then all of a sudden he's just like, oh, hey,
Okay.
look, I'm hanging 10. That's pretty
Okay,
fun,
so-
right?
That doesn't explain why Dreadhead follows him.
Well, he just
because
probably got caught up
when
in one of those waves.
When we get to Dreadhead, I can't explain it. We'll just have to get there. Okay, so I got something for you. Here we go. Carol's cookbook. Carol has been banned from Twitter. Okay, so I was following Carol, and then I was, or I think it's not technically Carol. It's just Carol's the webcomic. But I was following the user. Yes, it's well, it's probably fentanyl. Actually, we're upgrading.
Well,
now.
it's
This is
that's
cookbooks.neocities.org. Remember cookbooks.neocities.org if you want to look this up, because the Twitter user, which was like called Circuit something, has been banned and has not come back yet, from what I can tell. And so the only way to get Carol's cookbook is to actually, and she's got these little animations which are kind of neat. So she's got her old cookbook, her better cookbook, just general comics, diagrams, other illustrations, and secret. I have not explored this entire website, but the character of Carol is hilarious, and there's just something brilliant about these comics. I cannot show you all of these. One of them is called Penis Drink, so we're not going to look at that one. We're going to do the recipe for water. This is Carol's recipe for water. It's kind of hard to, again, reading some of these comics, you kind of have to just one of the things I like about Carol's cookbook is the fact that the reading order is, you just have to explore the comic. There's not necessarily start here and read. You have to start at one dialogue balloon and section, and then just kind of
Make sense
move
out of it.
your makes like an out of order recipe. Okay.
That being said, there's no way I'm going to read all this, so you're going to have to do it for us.
What the hell? I'm not sure we should read this out loud.
So I don't know if I could read all this out loud. This is one of the tamer one. Well, actually, it's mid-range in there. You asked me. You said bring out the edge. So
I did not. I did not. That was entirely somebody
This
else.
is starting to get into that Adult Swim area,
Yeah, I was
which
gonna
is
say,
kind of the lighter end of actual Edge.
Before
this isn't full edge.
I was going to say, before we were looking at random Facebook meme content, this reminds me of a lot of anime.
How does this remind you of anime?
There's a lot
Probably
of
because
dirty
he
jokes in
equally
adult
doesn't
anime.
understand it.
Okay.
What's not to understand about anime? It's just a. Okay.
Abigail says mucho texto. that's what
true.
makes these comics. That's what makes these comics so interesting, because of how you have to make sense of it.
Well, and like I gotta say, like I'm trying to decide if this is winning or failing at comics, right? Because like
It's definitely winning.
there's okay.
These are brilliant.
Hear me back. I'm just
Okay.
this one specifically.
Okay.
So comics is a language, right? But
Mhm.
like there's kind of a story here, but it's not linear, right? Each of the different components make sense because they're memes. They're memified, where there's like it's irreducible for the component, but they all add together to be something. It's like an essay, a nonsense essay, but it's an essay. But it's not like, so it's taking in. My God, my brain is starting to melt.
I'm gonna pull up another one of these while you get that thought out.
Okay, so like we've been having on the back channels, we've been having and on Twitter too lately in the last 2 weeks, we've been having a huge ongoing. It's like 4 weeks of debate amongst several of our regulars and friends of regulars about what is a comic, like structurally, functionally, what is a comic, and like this thing that is like. So, for the record, my personal definition of a comic, right, the one that I feel most accurate thing is, it is a narrative that uses images like language to tell a story, right? And so I include single panel comics that imply the beginning and the end of stories, like a lot of Addams Family strips, like a lot of Far Side strips, and people like argue with me because those are just cartoons. I was like, I can tell exactly where the story begins and exactly where it ends, and I don't see why. And you know where it does because we're having this argument about it. So
you need to read Sam. I don't know if I agree with you on that, but
I know you don't. But that's part of the debate we've been having.
Yeah.
But, like,
I think you
thing.
need to read. Yeah,
that thing might break my entire conception. you see what I'm saying? Because
that was definitely a comic.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't argue that it wasn't a comic, but I mean, like my definition is absolutely not enough to describe what I just saw, and I cannot deny is a comic. Do you see what I'm saying?
I realized
we broke your brain again. I love this. Here, I got another one pulled up. This one's a little more traditional.
I realized two things at the end of reading that. One, it is not what I thought it was, so forget the anime comparison.
Yeah, that was out of left field. I was like, this is anime. I was like, what the hell?
And two, Marsupial Gamer, please do not bring anthropomorphic anatomy into this. This is not the time or the place.
Oh, Cartoon's getting mad. So
I love we've instantly got a rebuttal.
Birds don't have boobs though. Chicken has breasts. That's hilarious. Checkmate atheists. All right, Reese, pull up my screen. I got more stuff. We got to keep this moving. I have more edgy comics to show you. All right, so I'm going to read this one. I think I can actually read this one without breaking anything. So let me zoom in just a tad bit more. Meeting someone. Are you feeling lonely? I know that feeling, but I have a great trick to find your twin soul and force fate just a little. Sigh. Go to your nearest highway and seek someone you would like to date. Use binoculars if you need to. Once you've chosen, just step out in front of his vehicle to provoke the meeting. He will be all embarrassed and be sure to invite you to dinner or something to apologize. And from then you can easily put the moves on him. Bang! Bro, what the F did you hit? Some kind of cow, man. Who cares? Bro, that's a rental car. What if it's scratched? All right, you effing fairy. We'll have a look. Next rest stop.
I love it.
This is why you have to read these. Oh my God. So I have to admit that one is actually kind of funny, except for realizing that she's lying there in a pool of blood at the end. That kind of really.
No, that's the funny part. What are you talking about?
No, I hate death comedy. I hate death comedy.
Oh gosh, well then you're not gonna like.
Okay, just because you hate it doesn't mean it's not funny. Comedy is as much science as it is art. That's funny. It would
seriously be just as funny without the last panel at all.
No,
the joke is in the cow and the.
Because if they don't have the comment about the stopping at the rest stop, then the joke isn't complete.
Because they have higher priorities than the dead body. It's checking the rental car.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Chris. I have to say I'm sorry to Cartoonicus. Some of these strips are gonna. They're going to offend. They're going to offend.
Believe me, I totally expect it. I'm just pointing out. I laugh at the point at which we've hit basically slapstick humor. The rest doesn't matter to me. Okay. And I'll just point that out to so many people who take that kind of Seth MacFarlane route. Sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Well, I think Seth MacFarlane shoots himself in the foot everything I've seen him do, but I have very little respect for Seth MacFarlane.
Okay, so that one is
I want to be free to live a life that doesn't harm other people, and that's about it.
Okay, so let's see here. Trying to find another one. Do we want to do another Carol? Or do we want to move on? Because like I said, we have plenty more to look at. But
you probably
Carol's,
need to, at the rate at which your computer is allowing these to go up, you probably don't want to spend too much time on any one artist.
Wow, that was savage.
I think he's actually just trying to avoid more of Carol's humors, but it only gets
Right,
worse
it's only
from
going to
here
get
on
worse
in.
from here. No,
Yeah.
I was going to say,
literally
Cartoonica is
saying
like I am slightly protecting you.
it is unfortunate
This
that these go up so slow. You're not going to get a whole lot unless we move. But
I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do one more because I really do. Carol is one of my favorites. I've not read her entire work, but like I said, what I have read is just hilarious. So this is her recipe for stealth. So I need to. We want the link in chat for for comic books. All right, I'll put this one in chat. All right. While we take a look at this one. Stealth. I think you can all guess what I've been doing here. Question is how to prevent this. This being you guessing what I've been doing, because if you do work sometimes and they guess, you can get fired. I think. So, a shower will do you good and remove hair messy and most sweat smells, but the hand that you have used sometimes retains the smell still because of the particles. Solution is so use an abrasive thing, just slightly to scrape off the superficial layer of skin with a lot of smell. Example, thin sodium bicarbonate. Use as you would a soap. No smell left, maybe. And then you can do it all over again.
You might not have any skin left either.
So like I said, there's
by any chance
Sodium bicarbonate. That's just baking powder, baking soda.
So Carol is sometimes embraces this very anti-humor, which ends up being funny. It kind of overflow integers at times.
Well, does Carol by any chance not speak English as a first language?
No, I think this is written this way on purpose.
Yeah, I think it's intentional.
Alrighty, so that is Carol's cookbook, which, like I said, is not safe for work, but is quite funny. So please take a look at that one. And some of it is quite, definitely getting up on the. We're dialing up a bit on the edge scale. Okay, so we've not hit the. So if we're doing like hot wings, like I said, we're about like the mid tier. We're edging closer to like where it's like, okay, your mouth's gonna burn. All right, and that's
Pikachu stage.
That's where I'm going to have to get selective when I start showing some of these off, because some of them get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, I can't show that on stream. That violates TOS. So let me think. Who do I want to start with here? We're going to do Gragnor next. And then I think we'll move on till Alpesacross, I think. And then, like I said, I'm saving. Oh, Dreadhead liked my tweet. I added him and said come say hi in chat. So definitely not RGC if you're in chat. Definitely don't say this is the Air Marshal, which is still one of your best comics, by the way. And I'm saving that for the very end. Alrighty. So let's talk about Gragnor next. And I'm going to share. This is his Tumblr page, which is easier for my computer to handle. And my computer is actually a pretty decent computer. It's just after you load like the 50 Twitter tabs, Twitter just eats your system memory. So let's do Gragnor. So Gragnor is a funny little, I would say, kind of right-wing comics that is about a little gnome with a red hat. As you can clearly tell, gnome, red hat, kind of where that joke is going. This is where things start getting more political. Let me find, let's see here. Wow, this Putin guy is so scary. I don't even know what he wants. Yeah, let's look him up. Looks like his first appearance was in Cable and Deadpool issue number 8 in 2004. So that's apparently a joke that Putin isn't officially a character in the MCU. let's see. Let me find some of his funny ones. This one. This is where the edge starts to pile up just a tad. Let me zoom in just a little bit more there so we can see that. Hey, little guy, why are you hiding? It's June. That's when all the gay demons come out of hell. Now, little dude, you can call people demons. Sorry, now, little dude, you can't call people demons just because they're gay. And stop calling us gay. So,
it's not
and again, you can
super
see
funny,
what,
but I really
he's definitely
appreciate
wearing
that I can actually understand the flow and the punchline at the end of this one.
Let's see here. Is it safe to come out yet? No, it's horrible. The president is spending too much. They're making us use a vaccine that was rushed. There are more kids in cages than ever, and now he's going to build the Mexico wall. I think is that a joke about Biden?
Also, to respond to Abigail, yes, Putin is canon. His actual first appearance was Extreme X-Men number 31.
Okay, whoops. So, crap.
He
Now
caught up
Tumblr
with
wants
you?
me to, yeah, Tumblr wants me to, so I'm gonna have to use Twitter again. Crap. All right, we're skipping you. Let me go through. See, here we go.
What the?
He's also on Minds, so we'll go on his Minds.
I love
page.
Minds.
So, like I said, here's where things start becoming more.
I need to get back on Minds after I graduate.
All righty. So the problem is that on Tumblr it had more of his comics, and this is just more of his posts, so it gets a little harder to find. We'll try to find one more of his, and then we'll move on. Oh no! Here we go. Let's see here.
Arnie.
There's the one about the demons. Let me see if I can find another one. Definitely super professional stream today.
Well, if anything, this
That's a
does back up just how obscure these are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to finding these comics, sometimes you just have to like scroll through feeds of material. It's difficult to actually find them. So when it comes to when I mentioned to you guys before, I thought Gragnor had more than that. Okay, so that's Gragnor. We can keep moving. He's got some funny ones. He had a funny one about taxes, which was pretty clever. Okay, now I'm gonna have to start pulling out
Taxes
Gab.
are always hilarious.
No, actually, I can do a couple more on Twitter. I got a couple more on Twitter. Okay, so we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do MC McCrow next. Oh, come on. McCrow uses Telegram. Like I said, you end up having to go on several different social media platforms to.
I can guess why I would use Telegram too, because it's basically just a encrypted newsletter at that point.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So I am not legally liable for what happens past this point.
Is this the final boss?
No, but we're getting there.
No, we've just actually left the open world and entered the dungeon.
Yeah, we are entering dungeon territory, and we're just gonna scroll from the bottom to the top here. And I don't even think I'm gonna read these.
Not Moon Man.
Yes, you just saw it. Man, things just don't work like they used to. You mean like the 1950s? I wish things weren't so filthy these days. Unlike the 50s, right? This used to be such a nice neighborhood. Let me guess, in the 1950s? So definitely making jokes about that. We've got, again, if you know, you know. And I am not going to explain that comic at all.
I'm not going to explain Moon Man either.
Nope.
That is
those of you in chat
racy
who
for
know,
this channel.
you know. Yeah, that is maximum good. But yes, we are approaching that level. This one's actually kind of funny. Sir, we've engaged another balloon threatening America. That's Lizzo, if anyone recognizes.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. At
She
first, I thought it might
played
be.
an antique flute that pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it might be a joke.
Well,
about
I mean,
Goldberg.
it wasn't so much that she played the flute because like she had done a formal recital at
It
the
was
museum,
how she did it afterwards.
and it was James Madison's glass or crystal flute. Which, do you guys know the difference between crystal and glass? Because I think it's interesting.
Abigail was right. That is the pay me chick. So I thought, yeah, I obviously it could be Lizzo as well, but you're right. The green jumper, that's the woman who says pay me because of racism. Actually, yeah, Abigail's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that one
That's
too.
a good point. Yeah. Okay, so this one is I'm a satanic pervert. I host furtive BDSM parties. I work in the government and I want to corrupt kids. Slurp. Oh, and I steal women's luggage. Arrest him! Which is painfully poignant, actually.
Yeah.
This is one of McCro's best comics because it perfectly encapsulates societal problems.
Well,
I
I'm
remember the
getting the
exact thing he's
idea.
talking about.
Unfortunately, I'm sure the women's luggage is something specific, and I'm not getting that at all.
It was an actual thing.
This is
happened.
do you remember member of Biden's cabinet who
well, he's the undersecretary for nuclear waste disposal.
Was
Yeah,
he
that's
was,
he was. And the dude's like a total creeper. And got caught stealing women's suitcases at airports, like flying around, like even before he would work for the government. It goes back like quite a while, but he'd fly with no luggage and walk out of suitcases with luggage, and then be seen in public, photographed in people's clothes that he stole. In fact, that last part they only know because he stole a designer's stuff, and so like
she
the
said
outfits
this
he
is
was wearing. There's one of those dresses.
Right, yeah. She said there's only one of those dresses that exists. That person stole my luggage.
Yeah.
And
it was like 5 years ago. Yeah. So I can't remember the dude's name, but and he made up this whole story about being sent to a conversion camp when he was a kid, and none of it's true. And yeah.
Okay. So like I said, we are approaching extreme levels of iconographic edge. If you know, you know, and I'm going to keep scrolling.
I have a feeling I'm just going to stop understanding any of these.
You're going to understand this one. Come on, McCrow, admit you're just a crappy clone of a much better cartoonist.
That's not cool.
I really don't.
What style? Okay, I hate blank. What character says I hate blank and has those eyes?
So is McCrow supposed to be something?
He's in the style of Garfield, man.
I get he's saying that, but is McCrow someone he's actually making fun of here? Another artist or
I
something?
think he's making fun of
this
himself.
is the artist, yeah.
Yeah.
He's taking shots at himself. Or he's taking shots at the people who take shots at him by taking a shot at himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I have to say I do not ascribe to all of the political opinions of these creators. They are deliberately offensive and edgy, and they go too far for me in places. I do need to point out the fact that these comics are still fascinating to me, and I do collect them like trading cards in some fashions, just because of how far they push the envelope. And I will say what is interesting is the fact that they sometimes push the envelope so far to a particular direction because of how they're being told not to. And there is an artistic impulse, and if someone tells you, "Don't you dare ever say this," or "This is a protected class,"
well, and
there's someone who will draw a cartoon and say, "I hate that." And
it's I mean, like from a comic history perspective, some of these guys are really doing what people like George Carlin pretended to do, right? Because that's the yeah. So
I get the impulse, like. My own family could tell me, "Hey, go make your plate," and I'll be like, "Don't tell me what to do."
That being said, so many of these, like, even if I understand what they're trying to get at, it doesn't actually feel like a punchline.
So, like I said, it depends on the one. Yeah. This macros aren't the funniest. Some of them, like I said, a couple of them are pretty clever. Some of them are just there's more political, but like I said, dialing up the I don't care who I offend to about 11. Macro is definitely high on that list. So we're in the spicy zone. So that's Macro Comics at Kelly Loves Birds. So the most innocuous of Twitter handles. Okay.
Well, now wait a minute.
Down
What?
to
Of all names, that should be on Twitter. It's about birds.
it is on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the other website. Again, on Twitter, you have to keep scrolling and scrolling. So sometimes I pull up another one of their feeds if I can. We're gonna do Martian Magazine, which is one of the funniest of these edgy ones, and then we'll probably
This is
end
when we were
on,
kind of talking about. Well, we've brought the subject up before backstage.
Yeah, Martian
Martian-
Magazine. Yeah, that was a thing.
All right, so I'm going to bring up Martian Magazine, and we will take a look at some of.
No, I think
these here. This is
the
Foxford
statement you guys are looking for is that Twitless is a comic connoisseur.
Oh, Breadhead's in chat. Oh my gosh, my world is complete.
Thank you for coming. So also, Edming says Twitless is a butt collecting comic scientist. It's not a fetish; it's a collection of moons. Oh, Naji, you picked a weird Wednesday to show up, man.
Once again, let's throw out the disclaimer.
Yeah. By the way, Twitless is intentionally showing this offensive comic.
Dreadhead does not need a disclaimer. Dreadhead is the disclaimer.
No, I was not. I'm saying for Nanji, who just showed up, he said I remembered it's Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
I said he picked a great Wednesday to show up.
Well, anyone who's looking at the chat can see the pinned message that
We're,
clearly says warning, and they can click on it to see the full message.
That's true.
Breadhead, we are saving your comics for last, but we are going to get to them. I've got two more to get through. We're going to mention El Peo Cross, which is pretty good. Although it'll be a slight dial down on some of the edge, but we're going to do Martian Magazine, which if you have not read Martian Magazine, again, it is edgy, but it is funny. Martian Magazine does a very good job of combining the two. Let me find some of his. There's Stone Toss. So Stone Toss made an appearance on our stream, no matter what. This is one of Martian's. This is probably actually one of his lighter comics, where you have the thief stealing money from the bank so we can build a house out of the money because the inflation's so bad. Where are some of his extremely good ones that he's done lately? More Stone Toss. Alrighty. I might need to just go to. I have his website pulled up. So we're actually going to. That's his feed. Let's just pull up his website. So I will say that it is very helpful. It's like a Space Station 13 game. We never let Twitless play the Genesis. He'll just clone the blood bots. I swear, this is just I just like the edgy comics. This is not the art Twitless's disguised whatever. Let me find.
No, wait, this person I think I know.
He did one recently that I want to start off with. Here we go. This one is quintessential Foxford. This is one of his best. Not one step further. Your kind isn't admitted to Hogwarts. Unmolesto! And the charm takes effect. Jesus. And Breadhead is already bringing wonder and joy to the chat. Although I'd say Breadhead, ignore that message. I left my keyboard on supervised.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Alrighty. So let me find another good Foxford one. Oh gosh, no. I'm not reading
that's
this one.
right. We talked about this
Um,
comic already back when I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, I think it was.
Yeah, no, we talked about Foxford a little before. I told you this was we were in the hot zone for the hot wings. We are in it. Okay, so if you were not prepared,
Yeah. So Nanji, we discussed this in the first part of the show. Stone Toss is the first step. Towards
he's the start. Stone Toss is the starter Pokemon.
Yeah,
he is the Charizard you start off with, and then you end up at when you're collecting the legendary Pokemon, you like Articuno and Zapdos. That's Foxford. When you get up to like NT level or like Mewtwo at the very end of the game, or actually Mew. Sorry,
who knows a bunch of Pokemon? Wow.
RGC, who we're ending with today, is Mew. He's the one you can only get by trading with someone else, and it's the most rarest of all the Pokemon. So that's who we're ending with. But Foxford, like I said, we're at the Articuno Zapdos tier. Gosh. Marsupial Gamer says things I'm not going to repeat.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Gosh, we're gonna get this is so cancelable. I hope no one ever finds this. Actually, Foxford, speaking of, someone mentioned Blobby earlier. Foxford actually took the bottom right-hand panel and put Blobby's head on the pike, and then sent it to Blobby and said, "Look, I added Blobby on Twitter." So these people aren't only offensive; they are not afraid to court offense. So yeah, but I will say that some of the funniest strips aren't just the political ones. The strips where Foxford just does something heinous, like this one. Okay. Yeah. Foxford's final procedure.
Wow.
Moving on. Oh, this one had lore on it, which is this is a perfect setup. We've got our character looking at the poor horse. The guy's, I'm gonna let that horse go free, and then we find out that's the rape horse enclosure. But the real joke is who appears on the left-hand side of the panel, and you have to know the internet in order to know who's there. So, is anyone familiar with the YouTuber Vosh or streamer Vosh?
Okay.
That's Vosh.
I know Vosh. He's a real piece of work.
Yeah, he's basically a pervert degenerate. So the real joke isn't the rape horse part. The real joke is Vosh being in the thing.
So the question is he, or does he just play one on the internet? But since I'll never meet him, I don't have to care.
Here we go. So, oh gosh, this one's just painful.
Oh my God.
So the thing is, I have to point this out, and that is that some of these comics are only really edgy if you take into account the politics, and if you put yourself on the side of the, someone reading it who would very much disagree with the point.
I'm sorry, the rape horse one was pretty offensive, no matter who you are.
Well,
I do only in that it used the R word, but like, a lot of these, this one, and I can't remember which one it was we were looking at before. It's clearly more about the politics and me thinking of how somebody's going to react than me actually being the one to react.
Yeah, that's fair.
Got that on the monkeypox comic, the biting one is biting.
Yeah. Oh, there's our friends again. It's like I said, these guys run in the same circles. Abortions are now illegal. The country is going back 200 years. Women are left with no other option. So this was a Martian magazine riffing off of Keith Stack's characters. There were crossovers, which is really there's basically one of the fun parts is when you dive into edgy social media comics, you eventually discover that there is an MCU. They cross over. This is Endgame. Well, not Endgame. more like Infinity War. I don't know. It's one of the other crossovers, but they cross over and it's great. So like you go, oh, I know those characters, and it's just
It's like being in Thor Ragnarok and falling out of the Rainbow Bridge, and everybody just ends up in the same place. It's like, oh, I know that guy from work.
God,
that's.
I can't.
So some of the funniest ones are just
I have
monthly.
grown to hate Ragnarok so
I did
much.
too.
I didn't. First time I saw it, I didn't hate it, but I think it's my love of Led Zeppelin blinded me to how crappy that movie is.
I actually
There's
didn't
a lot of
have.
potential in it. It's just all thrown away.
Ugh.
I actually didn't have much of a
Neostar
problem.
says Pizza Tower. Oh, do not bring up Pizza Tower while Breadhead is in chat. Do not bring up Pizza Tower while Breadhead is in chat. Breadhead got in a whole Twitter storm because of his deliberate targeting of the Pizza Tower fandom. There's a whole lore behind it.
I don't know anything about it, but can I just say, you totally missed out on your chance to call it the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
No, there's
saying.
yeah, I'm not taking that one.
It'd be a
let
lot
me
to
find-
jump into.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Breadhead is doing his hashtag there. He went hardcore against Pepperman, or for Pepperman. Kind of depends on your perspective on that. You actually, by the way, Breadhead or RGC or not RGC, I only discovered Pizza Tower because of you, and I was like, what the hell is this? So yeah.
Oh, see, I found it because I hang out in Newgrounds and Newground circles. So like you see that type of stuff over there all the time.
Okay. So before we go and end in our crescendo of absolute insanity, we got one more to share. This is El Peocross, or Peocross. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. And he does a wonderful, charming, edgy comic called Rad Dude. This was his St. Patty's Day comic. Dude, it's St. Patty's Day. That's Rad Dude. You know what that means? If you don't wear green, you get pinched. Pinch. He's pinching his friend Johnny Hitler. Right there. That is a swastika on his hat. And then the guy wearing green, he just kicks in the groin. So it's just wonderful, senseless violence, and it's just a perfect setup. So very charming comic, hilarious, violent, offensive, kind of a wonderful mix of all those great elements. Let me see if I can find another one of his here. I'm not RGC, in case anyone still doesn't know that. Yes, yes. This is not RGC. This is definitely not RGC.
Oh, also, you're getting called out by Neo. He says you misread him. It's Piece of Power. It's a song from TMNT coming out of their shells.
Oh, okay.
He's referring to an actual song.
Okay, I was talking about Pizza Tower, which is the video game that is definitely not transphobic.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The best way to describe it, though, is it is a Wario Land game on crack. Which is really fun looking, but
So I have no idea what that is, and I don't know that I want to derail things, but there you have an honest question from the chat from Fly Fox. I have no idea what would qualify a thing as an autistic thing, other than So I don't know.
So I think
maybe that's a
ones.
discussion for later. No disrespect to anyone involved in any sort of kerfuffle.
Reddit says Pizza Tower is better than Celeste. I can definitely watching the gameplay and listening to the soundtrack. Pizza Tower has a fantastic soundtrack. The aesthetics are.
I definitely agree.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Pizza
So
Tower the one with that really ugly looking artwork?
Gosh, get out of here! Boot him from the stream.
Yeah, it depends what you consider ugly, but yes, there's a certain kinesthetic to Pizza Tower.
Okay,
it's kind of like taking
I'm gonna read.
Mm.
Sorry, one second.
Yeah, I was saying it's kind of like taking
Gonna
some
jump off
of
the mic,
that extreme manual art that you get from like the older Mario games and Wario and stuff like that, and then just kind of like twisting and turning it in the way that like maybe somebody who drew Ren and Stimpy might.
Well, I was gonna say it almost reminds me of. I'm looking at it right now. It reminds me of like old point and click adventures on PC.
And so, Neo, to address your point about the T, Twitless is in a zone, so he's referencing everything across this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. You're seeing, we're getting a glimpse into the mind of the interconnected Charlie Day's web map of Twitless's thought process here.
Say what? What was that? What are this? You don't know, do not turn this stream into we know Twitless better. This is just my Pokemon card collection.
No. He's talking about
No, no.
like why you
I'm talking
misread
about how you
Pizza Tower.
misread Neo's comment earlier and went with the Pizza Tower thing because it's part of the lore that
There
you're
is
in the
no
middle of
Pepe.
explaining stuff.
Doesn't exist.
Oh, sorry. I was doing so many. I'm pulling so many comics. I know.
You're in a zone. That's all I'm saying. Is you're in a zone.
I'm gonna read this one Rad Dude comic, and then like I said, and then we put it off far enough. We're gonna dive into the deep end. Okay, Rad Dude. This is Helena, I believe, who is a romantic interest for Rad Dude. You think that pollution hiding the stars has stunted our desire to explore beyond Earth? Much like how the pollution of profanity has clouded man's striving towards decency. Damn it, Helena! You said you took your meds before we got here!
That is actually kind of funny.
So
that's hilariously funny. Although I agree with Helena though.
Rad Dude. Yes, Rad Dude has a good comedic timing. So check out Rad Dude and his I think it's Dudette and Johnny Hitler.
That's very much like those fake text conversations that you see, where someone will be like, "Unfriend me."
Yeah, it actually kind of has a little bit of the flaming carrot energy. But
okay,
I mean, not
you guys ready?
Superhero pastiche.
I don't think we're ever truly.
Are you guys ready?
No.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'm always ready.
This is, in my opinion, and it's at Foxford level tier for Edge. And this is the archive. And by the way, Breadhead, please have an archive, and please, I love your the old school. If you have contact info, Breadhead, if you know the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, really good comics, just pass him a note. Says we miss him. We miss his classic comics that bring together geometry, genius, surrealism, insanity, racism, sexism, and all the isms into one cluster bomb of a comic. You haven't talked to him, well, that's a shame. But if you ever hear of a guy who talks to him, you can just pass along the fact. I wrote a seminar paper on this comic and the fact that it got booted off of Twitter and we lost the archive. And there's still missing comics here. This archive is missing one of my favorites, which is the Air Marshal. We're going to have to look up a YouTube video for that one. But let's start off with one of his just kind of his general format here. Okay, so RGC kind of perfected the 9-panel social media MS Paint form. Okay, and I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on these.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
No, this is. I cannot give a better compliment. I saved this one for last. Okay, so I'll read this one. The interview. So, Henry, is it? Oh, yeah, my son's name is Henry. He says he's a girl now, but that shit don't run in my house. All right, so tell me about some of your credentials. Why would I want to hire you? Well, at my last job, I was voted best team member 3 consecutive months in a row. I also am great with organization and friendliness. Yeah, well, can you fight me? I'm sorry, did I offend you in any way? Come on, you want this job or not? Hit me. You will never work for this fucking company.
Oh my god.
So that's one of his tame ones. Let's slowly dial up the edge here. One of the genius things about RGC is he's able to utilize these geometric forms and create visual metaphors out of them, right?
What the?
All right, so I'll read this one next. So, yeah, that's me. No, I'm not fat, just big-blooded. I have what's called polycythemia vera. It means my body makes too much blood all the time. Kids at school call me blood bag. And so the genius part of this is that this is actually a heart. And so as we go on through this comic, there's kind of this like weird sort of metaphor for like, you know, like what's being done to a person's body and their health. So the comic works on like the comic at first seems like it's purely stupid, just crazy, random nonsense humor. But the more you read it, the more you just like read and get more into it. Breadhead
a lot of
says
it's set up. Like you have to put down the groundwork before you can get into the more interesting things.
Yeah. Breadhead says his comics truly were the best. I don't know what he thinks of me, but I have much respect for him and his comics. So yeah, definitely. Let me actually do one of his most brilliantest ones. That is, gosh, I could spend all night on this guy. Where's the Fahrenheit? Here we go. This one is this is a genius comic. All right, so chat, tell us if you can interpret fully what's going on here. The name's Rad. I'm handsome, strong, cool, and I like Fahrenheit. I'm dweeble. I like Celsius. I'm silly. Beat it. Oh no, this wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to turn out like this. He's dead. I can't go to jail. There you go, dweeble. Rest easy now. No one needs to find out about this. Hey, I'm a cop. No mixing trash with recycle. Honey, look, a double murder cover-up. Now here's the genius part. What do those letters stand for? Because the guy in the bottom left-hand corner has a K on his shirt.
No, K's like, well, I mean,
Kelvin.
Yeah.
All of these letters are different measurements of temperature.
Yeah.
So the strip is just, it reads completely as just a hilarious, surreal, a madcap insanity take of a murder cover-up. But then when you flip it around, it's actually this whole commentary on how, like, you know, how Fahrenheit beats out all other temperatures. Essentially.
Well, it does.
It's the best system. So
it does. We live. I mean, like English measures describe the lives we live. We carry liquid by the gallon. We walk by the mile. We measure ourselves by inches and feet. I'm 130 centimeters tall. What the hell does that even mean? And it's not any less arbitrary. Fahrenheit is the temperatures at which human beings can flourish in. Below 0 or above 100, and it gets to be super uncomfortable to live.
Okay, all right. Let's keep going. I got more of these to share with you. Hey, boss, check it out.
That's one of my pet peeves, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hey, boss, check it out. Nutsack. Boss, check it out. Nutsack Monday.
Okay, now we're starting to get somewhere I'm not comfortable with.
It's Tuesday. You're fired. I don't get it. Is it political? What's the message in this? The guy coughs up his own brain. Hey, what's going on in there? What's wrong with you lot? Figure it out. This one became its own internet meme. This is one of the few times where RGC crossed over into the mainstream, because people will still post this as a reaction. The final 3 panels, at least the final, the bottom left-hand one, the guy, coughing up his brain and, basically trying to find out what's political here. Gosh, what are some of his other ones?
I had my hand
those
over
are
the
those are some of the tame ones.
Oh,
okay. Well, if you have your hand over the screen for that one. Oh yeah, those are the tame ones. Yeah. Run, hurry! It's International Men's Day. So he fights off the women's feminist forces with his farts and his yeah. Breadhead comics. Okay, I will pull up Breadhead in a moment, which is technically not RGC. What are some of the other classics I can cover here? Here we go. Let's do Rat Ball. Taylor, you're gonna want to cover the screen for that one if you didn't like Nutsack Monday. Behold my greatest creation, Rat Ball. Over 600 rats, all held together by hot glue and nails. Isn't that a little cruel? Retard alert, insector stupid. Who cares if it's cruel? They're rats. Life is nothing without a little suffering. So if you think about it, I'm giving their lives more fulfillment than they would ever get. Be free, my rats. Wha-bam! Ah, perfectly stretched sack, all held together with hot glue and nails.
Oh my god.
This shouldn't be funny. And yet...
I'm not sure it is.
Yes, but it is. I'm smiling and laughing.
I'm loving
Well,
this.
you maybe.
But then here's the funny thing is just when you think you have him figured out, this is one of his again, if we're dialing up when we start reaching the nuclear tier of offensiveness. Oh yeah, you'll always be my baby girl. Oh yeah, you'll always be my baby girl. Oh shit, I'm conflating my romantic relationship with my platonic one. I love you, daddy. I love you, daddy. Oh, I'm mixing the love up between my father and my boyfriend. Do I want to F my dad? Ayo, what's up, dog? And I'm not reading the rest.
Oh my god.
But just when you I need to finish. I need to finish this because just when you think you have him figured out. Oh no, that's not the whole sequel. That's where he shoots himself. Just when you think you have him figured out, here we go. Oh, not hard enough. A typical girl throw. Tell you what, fork over some more cash for another shot, and if you win, you'll get 2 prizes. How's that sound? Hey, leave her alone. Trying to trick you for his own sick game. Check out his foot in the last panel. It's all weird looking. A sign of untrustworthiness. Now here's something fair. Plus, I'll even let you try for free. That's right. Go on. Who could turn down a free chance at a prize? But have you considered why it's free? Oh, you'll see. Or should I say, I'll see. Any woman with a dress, a skirt, a kimono, I let them climb up my ladder with 0 cost. But taking a peek at what lies underneath is the cost. What the hell? Tights? Tights? You wear tights? After everything I gave you, you deny me the one thing I want? You think I like being a carny? You think I enjoy this life? It sucks. It sucks so bad. This is the only thing I have to look forward to, and you ruin it for me. When I reach you, I'm gonna ding, ding, ding. Oh, hey, we got a winner, folks. Congratulations. Just when you think you have RGC pinned down and figured out, oh, every one of his comics is going to end with a horrible, either a gangbang or a horrible murder. He goes, nope, you can never figure me out. I will always find a way to undo your expectations. Even if I have to undo everything I set up that was awful and make a wholesome ending. He is the, it's wonderful.
Okay.
I'm thinking that maybe it's not that these comics aren't super edgy, but maybe I've just been spending way too much time on certain Facebook groups, and I've become completely, what's the word? Desensitized at this point. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Let me see. One of my favorites you can only see as a YouTube video. Let me see if I can find it.
I think we're about to have a riot in the chat, though. There's a calling out for authentic breadhead, which I don't even know what that means.
I will pull up breadhead. But I have to celebrate RGC because he's amazing. And he even has recurring characters that show up. And there's little, I wouldn't say ongoing plot lines, but if you follow his comics long enough, you end up finding some just brilliant things. So let's put a pause on those, and we're gonna share. This will be our final.
So there you go.
I got share tab.
We have a not that one.
Take your time with RGC. He's Kino. Yes. Good. All right. So
So
Here
I
we
gotta
go.
stop for a second.
So I'm sharing.
One second. I want to divert
Yeah.
for a second to enrich myself with something. So I'm familiar with Kino from watching 50s and 60s teen movies, right? As an old slang term, and I've never veered away from it. But it seems like there are people that are using that in some sort of like informed insider way, because like we're seeing a convergence of stuff going on. Has that been like claimed by a particular subculture of edgy comic fans that I was unaware of?
Well, it's not edgy comic fans. It's the internet, right? So basically, it's come from that kinography, right? Or the older term for kino, which is cinematography.
Okay.
And then it's been brought into basically like a internet or online class structure, right? Like you're a pleb, you wouldn't get it. It's too kino for you. Right. So it's kind of like referring to whether you're in on the taste, right? It's like that wine is too fine for you. You wouldn't be able to taste it.
So, see, I just thought people were like me picking up.
Okay,
old
speaking of
slang
which, I have some fine. I have some.
Cats, you know, listen, all you crazy cats and kittens.
I have some.
Mattriarchy.
I got some fine vintage. So if you could share my screen one more time, and let's see if my audio will play this. Let me dial up my audio here.
Yeah, I think you've got the thing there.
There we go.
Although I've got a really Abigail's got a really good point. Pick a thumbnail for this one before it randomly picks a screenshot. That's an excellent point. Maybe I'll screenshot this piece right here.
All right, you guys ready for this one?
Hang on.
Oh yeah. This one's very safe.
I'm going to go ahead and use this.
Not so fast. I am an air marshal. All women and the children to the back.
What the hell?
Did you miss it? I'll play it again.
I am an air marshal. All women and the children to the back.
Okay, so Air Marshal was so brilliant. Oh, they're not funny, Twitless. I don't think they're funny. As I die laughing.
That's okay.
The thing is, he shouldn't find them funny. That's what he's saying.
I mean, I'm not laughing at this one.
Go ahead and pontificate on Air Marshal for a moment, Twitless, while I do the thumbnail thingy.
Okay, here's the thing. Air Marshal was so good, he became his own character on Friday Night Funkin'.
What's that?
Oh
so
my god! Okay, so
Why
Friday Night
does this
Funkin'.
game keep haunting us that?
So Friday Night Funkin' started out as a game on Newgrounds from some recurring creators on there, and it became like a weekly game. It's basically like Stepmania or whatever, right? Like a keyboard version where you're doing DDR but like with your arrow keys, right? And there's different songs and you play out each week, and it became so popular that they crowdfunded a full game with like 40 mission sets in it, and it just became like a full-on legit game.
Huh. Wow. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah, and it has deep lore.
Yeah. So Air Marshal is a character in this video game.
Okay,
what on
so that's
earth
enough
am
of
I
that.
hearing?
But he's it's a video game. It's kind of like a rhythm kind of video game. But Air Marshal pulls out his machine guns when he does his It crossed a little bit. Oh, it's not this one. On one of these videos, RGC actually commented. He comments very rarely on social media nowadays. He's essentially disappeared. It might be this one. But on one of these videos, he actually it was like rare RGC sighting. So, yeah. Oh, I was a robot in there for a second?
A little bit.
Okay. It's probably because I was, again, like I said, I've got too many tabs up to try to keep track of all these social media comics. Alrighty. So anyway, so we will end for real. Poop Madness fan wants to see Breadhead. I will pull up Breadhead. Give me a minute. Alrighty. It's probably it's probably not a bad idea to pull up Breadhead because he essentially takes RGC. I'm still not entirely convinced that RGC and Dreadhead are not the same person. They have the same arts, like almost the same art style. So
no, this video is definitely not made for kids.
Have you ever seen the two of them in the same place at the same time?
There's one
Well, it's the
interview.
internet.
Okay, I became like I became an RGC. Am I still roboting? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. So I became like an RGC, like not a scholar, but like I tracked down like everything I could of RGC. I found the one interview he did on somebody's channel where he talked, like where you got to hear his voice and him talk about webcomics, and it was on like Stream Me or something back in the day. It's hard to track down, and again that goes back to the problems we talked about with trying to track down these comics and their creators and what they do is very difficult, and that's what makes them valuable in some ways. It also makes it really, really tricky. Alrighty, so this is Dreadhead Comics, technically Breadhead Comics. Now you tell me if this is or is not RGC, just slightly different, or a couple years later. But let me find one of his recent posts. Nope, we're gonna scroll past that one. The problem is that there's not a lot of Breadhead comics overall, so it's gonna take me a minute to find it. This was back when he trolled the Pizza Tower fandom, and he got another artist who had quite a lot of followers to try to get him mass reported. So that happened. Here we go.
Is he still in the comments?
So I'm not sure. Here we go. So this is one of his. He's been doing a series of these where he essentially puts a famous social media platform on the left, and then basically just runs this, and basically has a running commentary on the internet. So on the left here, I'm sorry, Metal. He was calling out Newgrounds. Oh man,
right.
I'm really here. I've heard so much about how cool this place is. The place where all artists are welcome. It's everything by everyone. I can't wait to create and share my art with this bustling online community. Time for the Newgrounds experience. And there is unfortunately this very unfortunate reality of the internet.
Yeah, well,
and
when
if
you
look
have
on the right
everything by
on
everyone.
the comments,
I have not spent enough time on Newgrounds to know if this is true or not.
Well, the problem is it is a community kind of curated place. That is not allowed on the site, but there's plenty of it on there, and it doesn't go away until somebody actually reports it and brings attention to it. So you can find plenty if you're looking for it.
all right. So this is what got him in hot water with the Pizza Tower fandom. So just gonna let that one speak for itself. Got him in very, very hot water with that. Apple know that he's on the planet. Yeah, isn't that the point? Don't listen to Pepino, Apple man. The artistic and our cultural worth of NFTs far outweighs the negatives of the environmental impact they have. I'd like to buy 50 of them. Poop Madness fan says that hand-drawn art from earlier was actually something I made relating to the drama that happened between Breadhead and Porky Draws. Breadhead liked it. Oh, okay. Here's him again. Same format. He's doing Discord with this one. So basically, you can just just take any website and just slap it on here. I made a comment where I said you could basically do this with Tumblr, except it would only be 2 panels. Chase Cool, Breadhead was here earlier. He popped in and said hey.
No, it's still here. Just like a minute or two ago. It said trans hater dad is compulsory reading.
If he's here, we should invite him on the stream. Get his take on this.
I think the stream's almost over.
Right? Do a little interviewing.
This was the panel. This was his artwork that started it all. So Breadhead's main thing is he posited the idea that Pizza Tower is an anti-trans work. So he's basically said, I was really puzzled when I beat Pepperman, and then you go into the next room and you see this, anti-trans stuff, and he. So yeah, and there actually is a slight. There's a slight. It's interesting because the creator of Pizza Tower is not. He's kind of an edgelord himself, so people were going over his old Discord posts, and finding stuff. We're gonna skip that one. That one's goodness. He posted multiple times. Some of these are so edgy that I don't even know if I can show them on stream. But that's Breadhead. So he's new to the scene and very, very deliberately offending people. And like I said before, there is something very fascinating I find about all of that. Whether or not I agree with I do not agree with all of the positions of everybody we have. I have to put my own disclaimer now. I do not agree with everyone who I've shown or would say the things that have been said on all the comics today. I do find these comics to be utterly fascinating and have a certain artistic merit and value in their own right. I think that they're worthy of even study in some cases. Like I said, I actually wrote a bloody seminar paper on really good comics. So RGC, hit me up. Let's talk.
So one of the interesting things we were talking about backstage before, and I had not been exposed to very many of these comics myself. Fly Fox Pro, I'm a bit of an edgelord.
I'm a bit of an edgelord myself, yeah.
On my mother's side.
But anyway, what I was saying is I've not been exposed to it before, but we were talking about R. Crumb and Edgy Comics as a genre outside of the internet, and one of the interesting aspects of that was that Crumb had things to say with his offensiveness. Not all of them are worthy of saying, but he had some things to say about them, and it is worthy of engagement, if for nothing else than to consider the ideas and cast them aside. But that doesn't necessarily mean they don't need to be addressed. I think there are some value that this sort of content can have. The one thing about the intentionally offensive thing that I find somewhat alarming from my own philosophic perspective is that even in calling to question some of those, it can lionize people of ill will who are not looking to form arguments, but are simply looking to okay, so here's a really good example of the thing I'm talking about.
Flyfox Pro has a question that I'm going to very briefly address.
Chase Cool,
yeah, Chase Cool. It was apparently on this feed, so there you go. There you go, Chase. That'll be you can pay $5 on our Ko-Fi for that. I'm kidding. So the thing with R. Crumb is often seen as one of the progenitors of the underground comics with an X, COMIX movement back in the 70s, right?
Zap Comics. He did print them off, sold them in head shops. He was also the first artist. He kind of discovered Harvey Pekar and did the cover for the first American Splendor, and really kind of pushed him into making comics.
They kind of discovered each other.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds, yeah. So there you go, Chase. There's your featured piece of art there. But yeah, so in a way, these edgy comics that we're seeing are definitely would not agree politically, I think, in many cases with R. Crumb. But in terms of violating everyone's mores and sensibilities, definitely. So there are some images of R. Crumb that I can't get out of my head that are just awful.
Oh yeah, I mean, in especially like in Fritz the Cat. I mean, the demonstrated, well, not just especially in Fritz the Cat, but I'm thinking of a particular Fritz the Cat story that actually disturbed me for several weeks after I read it for a class. So yeah.
Okay.
So anyway.
I gotta end the night with just a couple more RGCs.
See, I was gonna end the night by pulling up Eve the Problematic Person and telling you all to go to WebTunes to check it out. But
we can do that. We can do that. We should definitely, shout out people from chat especially who are doing some edgy stuff today. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, mommy. Oh, I wish I wasn't turning 40. Ha ha ha. 40, huh? I say you don't look a day over 30. Yeah, mom, you're pretty effing hot. Oh, stop it, you two. No, really, mom. I'd say you even look 20. I think mommy looks 7. You have ruined this effing family.
Oh my God. Yeah, of course. This is an appropriate reaction, Adaming. That's fine. That's appropriate. But you can't ignore the place that Fritz the Cat has in American comics history. Just because it's a garbage flyer. Oh yeah, and there you go, Robert Crumb. Yeah, and we actually were talking about that earlier. We actually was talking about that. That R. Crumb has, in a lot of ways. I mean, even his most degenerate stuff, his level of cartooning is just next level, and it's one of those things. But like, when he wasn't saying something worth considering, everything else is garbage. So I definitely think that's a big thing.
Anyway, go read RGC. You can find him. You can find his archive on some of his archive on Instagram. Really good comics. Actually, I'll post the link in chat because it's actually kind of hard to find. But it's not all of his work. A bunch of his stuff got circulated on 4chan. We can wrap up, I guess, by Reese. You wanted to bring up
Yeah. Let me load that up in a tab here. I should have been doing that ahead of time, but I didn't. So.
Whoa. No. What just happened?
What? I don't know.
As I was streaming, no.
What?
You pull up what you're pulling up. I think a crime has just occurred.
Did somebody get hacked?
As we
The
were
archive's
streaming,
probably gone.
Instagram suspended the account.
Wow.
It says we suspended your account on March 30th. It's not even March 30th.
Well, it is in the East Coast. Your specific
it's not.
account?
No, it's not. You still have half an hour for that.
We have half an hour before that, and it's not my account. Not my account. The RGC comics. We were just looking at that page like 2 minutes ago.
Did we get him suspended?
Oh no, that can't be it. I didn't even say where it was.
Nobody even watches this show. How could we get it suspended?
Hey, I knew going in that if there was one stream that was going to go viral, it was probably going to be this. Unfortunately.
No, that can't be right. I was just going to say, go read this comic and go.
Marsupial Gamer says he still sees it. Or she still sees it. I'm not sure.
What the hell just happened?
That's a guy. That's my co-host over on the Vomitorium.
All right.
Marsupial
It's
says he still sees it. I can't get there. It says we suspended your account. They didn't suspend my account, did they?
If it's saying your, it seems like they're talking to you.
I've never posted. I don't have a single post on Instagram.
Well,
All right, I'm gonna find you on Instagram here.
No, hold on. If my account gets suspended, I'm gonna laugh because I've never posted on it. So how do you suspend an account that's your account doesn't follow our community guidelines? I've never posted.
Maybe streaming. Maybe they have something about streaming their site.
Oh no, hold on. I think something happened.
What are you?
That's on my end. Okay, all right, never. No. Sorry, no. This is no. Don't worry about me. Sorry. Okay, I think it had to do with the fact that's on my end. Okay, whew. All right, RGC still up. It's my account because I don't use Instagram, and I never went through I never bothered to confirm my account or something. That put me in some sort of terms of service violation, even though I've never posted. And I only used Instagram to look at RGC.
No, so you've never verified your account.
Yeah, that's what happened.
How come you don't
Sorry.
look at my stuff? Huh?
It's still very weird, by the way. I'm just gonna say it's very strange to have an account and have them say you violated our community guidelines when I've never posted to your community. But we'll just let that
just
slide.
Lurking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Sorry.
So
I almost had a heart attack there. Okay.
the potato did it. Marsupial Gamer says definitely too many butts. That was.
So, that's why. Okay.
So anyway, so this is the beginning of Peter the Problematic Person, and it starts with this little bird in the sky, and this is it's over there on Webtoons, and you are what, 9? I was talking to Matt about this because he was thinking the Webtoons format limits his ability to really make comics, and I just think that the way that Fly Fox was using the vertical scroll as a specific storytelling device, in guiding the eye across the vertical scroll is just something special. I would love to.
I think you brought it up because of some of the solutions or like ideas I came up with, and then you tweeted or sent this one directly to me in that group chat.
Oh yeah, that may have been, but yeah, and it's about a guy who's going on having a day, and sees a pretty lady, and his day just goes from bad to worse, and you should read it. You should check it out. I love it. I love this comic so much. But yeah, see, just check this out. The water actually leads you through the page, and the robber, the thief in the pink "Do You Lift" shirt. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because you should go check it out. But
Right.
So
I hope that we.
Oh, that's right. He's specific to see the lady. No, but we do. We get to see that. So anyway, Dominic says in the last 2 weeks we learned every Reese thinks every villain is a Democrat and has strange tastes. I don't think every.
What are you talking about?
Some of them are.
My tastes are keto. They're pure keto.
So Edwin just doesn't get
it. Yeah,
I'm too pleb.
Well, I will say this about I think every comic we've seen tonight. These are cringe.
We are no longer friends. This is the opposite of cringe. This is art. I will die on that hill. RGC belongs up on a freaking gallery wall.
Doesn't mean it's not cringe.
No, it is not cringe. You don't know the definition of cringe.
No,
if you want to see cringe, go look in a mirror.
Yeah.
Ooh. I was cringing pretty hard on this. I got to be completely honest. But next week,
when you weren't dying laughing,
those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. And art is not a title to be won.
Yes, it is.
Okay, guys. Let's wrap up. It's been 2 hours. I'm exhausted.
Okay.
And I have people yelling at me to play Final Fantasy with them. So
yeah, we see here we have a Super School is over.
Yeah, it's all over.
Probably not. But okay. So next week, I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but we will go back to our quest to discover the good, the true, and the beautiful. I feel like we got really derailed from that with this show. We'll try to get back to the finding the enduring things next week. And sorry, man, that's probably cheap, but man, I'm exhausted. I started this show tired, and I feel now my belly is sore, and I'm also more tired. So, anyway, man, sorry, my brain just cut it out on me again. We just got to cut the show off. Go back, everybody. Go read comics. That's it. That's it. We've got more Forces coming on Friday. I'm cool about that. I don't know what everybody else has got up to, with stuff, but yeah, we all make comics, so go read them. Yep. That's the. Oh my goodness.
yeah, I think that's good.
You good?
Anybody else wants to talk can, and I'll just shut up, and then we'll say goodnight. If you have anything else you guys want to say,
Go read these extremely offensive comics.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Peril.
At your own peril. That is true.
Yeah, and if you want to watch a show that is sometimes intentionally offensive or doesn't even mind the offensive, you can catch us on the Vomitorium every Wednesday and Saturday at 6 Central Time in the evening.
Yeah, and Fly Fox mentions they are Lone Wolf 2 on Kickstarter. It's met its goal. It's exceeded its goal by quite a bit. But go over there and get some amazing comics from Doug Garrett and the gang, the whole gang over there. So I've got mine. Have you? And Super School's updating regularly still from the guys in the lower half.
Which my comic is not. My comic barely even touches Edge, so don't go read my comic for wholesome, entertaining fun that is very clever and witty and well drawn by Cartoonicus here, who I'm never speaking to again after tonight. He dared.
They're gonna communicate like Johnny and Joey Ramone, where it's entirely through letters and set notes.
Smoke signals.
There you go.
But and check out the Adventures of Omega Girl, classic superhero action on Indie Planet.
Yeah.
Links should be somewhere in here.
And you could check out idealcomics.net, which is my website, and I've got a hub to comics on Global Comics and stuff for purchase and all kinds of things there. After May, I'm going to start putting up some comic reviews and stuff again. But first, I got to graduate college, so hooray. And until next week, get out there and read some flipping comics. Good night.